with us on the conversation. Big race inside the PNP in Jamaica for leadership of one of the most successful political organizations in the history of the Commonwealth Caribbean. And Kari Douglas, the councillor for the Trafalgar division in the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, is a supporter of Peter Bunting, one of the two horses in the race, the other being the incumbent leader, Dr. Peter Phillips. And she has been talking about the state of the party and why she believes that the man she's supporting is best, well, in the case it's a two-horse race, is better for the PNP and by extension the country. When Peter Bunting was here a few weeks ago, he laid out his well, not his manifesto, but his reason for running. He spoke about the Jamaica that he wants to lead. He spoke about the issues inside the PNP that pushed him into the position to challenge for the leadership. And of course, he justified his decision to do so. I ask you this. Many people, there's a certain discomfort with Peter Bunting in some respects. Some people say, well, you know, of course you can't link Peter Bunting with corruption because he's never been in that clean slate right there. You can't say he's dunce, highly intelligent guy, and he speaks that way. But people always say there's just something about Peter Bunting that we find difficult to like. Do you think that that will get in the way of delegates of your party voting in the majority to make him boss of the PNP?
I don't think that it will get in the way. I believe also that he has made an effort, a specific effort recently to put himself out there to become more, I want to say, personable and relatable, yes, which he is, but he has not been in public spaces so much in an intimate way for people to actually know who he is. The PNP has a little problem, and the problem is that there are persons, I think, who have ambition and aspirations who will target people who they believe that are in their way, and I believe that this has affected Comrade Bunting over the past several years. Yes. So that persons who may aspire towards leadership of the party, who know of his intention to run for leadership, or who knew of his intention to run for leadership, have put things out there to make the man seem as if he is not relatable, arrogant, selfish, and so on, which is quite the opposite. I think that he is successful and established and very confident, and if you get to know him, he's just an awesome human being.
You know, I can say that several years ago, when I was in radio, I wrote a piece for the Gleaner newspaper criticizing something he had said while he was National Security Minister. I got a call from his secretary that he wanted to meet with me. So I said, well, here you go again, a politician calling a journalist to give a lecture. I said, all right, I'm going to go. I found him to be a different man from what I thought him to be. Right. A personable guy, yes, a nice guy, relatable guy. And I can say the same thing for Dr. Peter Phillips. Right. When he came, well, we've spoken, I've interviewed him several times. When he sat in your chair and we had a conversation, I saw a different side to him and a more personable, yes, side. I'm, yes, just saying, yes, that the perception of people is perhaps different if you get the chance to know them. Absolutely. But that said, Bunting's challenge, people are looking at Bunting and saying, well, you could have directed your energies and you could have marshaled, you could have roused your strongest supporters to support, that are supporting you. You could have used that and you could have harnessed the same energy to support the PNP with Phillips and wait. Why do you, Kari Douglas, believe, Councillor, that it is not the time to wait, but it is the time to challenge?
I think that we have tried. I'm sure that he may have tried. And in our conversations, there are some things that he has said that I agree with. I think that there's a general trust deficit. Persons expected Bunting to perhaps not challenge Dr. Phillips, but to express an intention to run for leadership of the PNP. Once that happens, it's going to be very difficult to convince persons to support any program that you take on, and that is just how it works politically. So I think over a year ago, Bunting presented them with a transformation plan, including a plan for the modernization of the PNP and certainly to enhance our PR and our communications, and nobody listened. For years, I have been making suggestions to persons in high positions and nobody is listening. I mean, something as basic as we need a new graphics artist and we all need to be uniformed and united in our approach to our communications. What is happening? When the JLP puts out whatever it is that they're putting out, their material, their literature, their information, it is all uniform, the graphics, the messages, and it is inspiring hope, regardless of what anybody thinks. That is what is happening. It's totally the opposite in the PNP. So I say that to say it has come to the point where Comrade Bunting had to take a decision in the best interest of the People's National Party and by extension Jamaica. His approach is going to be a two-pronged approach. One, to transform the party, and two, to have a national transformation program throughout the island.
Yeah, you, from my observation, you've been very good friends over the years with Comrade Philip Paulwell.
Yes.
The MP for East Kingston and Port Royal.
I have supported Comrade Philip Paulwell.
There you go. And well, I've seen several pictures of both of you doing work for the PNP and socializing. So he is, of course, in the Dr. Peter Phillips camp.
Yes, he is.
So when you spoke earlier about persons who may have had leadership ambitions, who would have, you know, painted Bunting a particular way or positioned him a particular way in the minds of people, Philip Paulwell immediately came to my mind. And I'm asking you, if Philip Paulwell's position in the Peter Phillips camp, your position in the Bunting camp, how do you reconcile the strength of that relationship outside of this process when this is all over? For someone who you supported so closely but who you now have such a fundamental difference of opinion with about who should lead the party already.
It's funny because I put out a post yesterday in all my anger and frustration when I sat in Parliament and realized that all of Dr. Phillips' supporters had left and the Rise United MPs stayed behind for Comrade Bunting's sectoral presentation.
The PNP denied it though. They issued a statement saying that didn't happen.
Well, the statement was issued by the leader of the House, who is Philip Paulwell, and I wondered if I should reach out to him or if not, and I decided not to, but it's politics, and you have to be involved, I think, and very intimate in the politics to understand the dynamics. So I've been there serving for 10 years. My political antecedents, my dad, who has served at the highest levels for some time, has given me the opportunity to see what inside looks like, what it feels like, and to understand some of the reasons why some things would take place. I say that to say I hope that it will not damage our friendship in any way. I still remain committed to giving assistance wherever I can, where he's concerned. He has been very helpful to me in the past. You know, there's been a time I've gone through some rough times as a young female in representation of politics, and especially for internal party politics. And he has come to my defense and has been there to support me. I really hope that that would not change subsequent to this. I have discussed with him my intention to support whoever challenges Dr. Phillips. I did not say at the time who it may be or that I may have been approached by the Rise United camp. But he knew my position from very early, and I think he respected it. He didn't frown upon me at all.